Hi, this is Anna Imagination with a Healing Garden, and welcome to Shifting Perspectives. I am when we are born, we have the world's greatest delusion dropped on us that there is control, that the unknown exists out there, and that we are safe inside our little control world. And that's the delusion. Unknowns hit us, and we're surprised. Unknowns come at us, and we're shocked. How could I not see this coming? Change happens. And we're going, what the hell is going on? This is supposed to be the space of control. And we resist it so much, the unknown, change, that we start labeling and categorizing and boxing and compartmentalizing. We have compartmentalized our culture. And then stepping from the sixth perspective into the seventh is when you really open your mind and you realize that the unknown is inevitable and that there is no getting around that. The unknown is inevitable. Now you can either resist it or accept that. Perspectives 1 through 4, resist it and then obsess about controlling it. Perspective 5s are debating on what they're going to do now that they're no longer ignorant. And perspective 6s and up are aspiring to reach and accept that the unknown is inevitable. And they're trying to learn how to live and survive when things are inevitable. We say things like, the only thing you can count on is change. But we don't internalize what that actually means. That the unknown is inevitable and you can resist it or accept it. And nonconformity is basically accepting it. And conformity is denying it. Monogamy is controlling the inevitable. Polyamory is embracing it. Having an open mind embraces that the unknown is inevitable. Having a closed mind tries to control it. Over here, there is abundance. And over there, there is scarcity. Because that is the price you pay when the unknown is inevitable. When you accept it, you're open to the change and to the receiving. And when you are trying to control it, you are closed off to the receiving because you are hoarding. So that's really the two mindsets. Are you in a hoarding mindset because of scarcity? Are you trying to control because you are trying to make sure that you never go through the unknown? Everything has to be predictable. Or do you have an abundance mindset? Are you open to give and receive? Are you able to bend and accept. This is really a hard place to exist because it immediately wants to go back to black and white thinking. The problem is we are so groomed that we can't even imagine what this will look like. If we can imagine it, we can just step right into it. But we lack the imagination because it's been taken away us. It's been taken away from us. That's actually what I'm doing here is I'm showing you what it looks like so you can imagine it. So you can see, oh, that's what it looks like. That's why I lead by example, is to show you this is what it looks like. Now you have something to imagine you following in your life. I feel like sometimes that my relationship is a huge crux in all of this. I feel like sometimes he is, like he and I have got to figure this out. Because whatever he and I figure out is what we're going to be showing you. This is how it's done. This is how you relationship in the 9th perspective. But we got to learn how to do it. To do it. But I have fear. And I try and control. And then I release. And I release. And I release more and more. And my slave mind was deeply conditioned into me. So I'm battling this massive slave programming that I've almost completely siphoned out of me. It's open to all possibility, the good and the bad. It is truly being open to the concept that anything is possible. The thing is, whenever we're hopeful and we think things like anything is possible, it's an optimism. But anything being possible means bad things can happen. Losses can happen. And are you ready to accept anything? That's the story of Job. He lost everything, but he was consistent. It's like when you start manifesting, you got to choose a team. You got to choose a team. That's it. That's manifestation. Manifestation is solid confidence in the identity. Now, if your identity wants to use a religion, fine, but you got to stay consistent because that is who you are. Whatever you choose to be it consistently. This is all about the self, but you got to know who you are to pull this off. You can't manifest if you don't know who you are, because manifestation is the consistency, without a doubt, of knowing who you are and what you would do in every circumstance. You have to become predictable to yourself. Now we can talk manifestation. How predictable are you? Because if you're consistent, you're on your perspective because you have defined your identity, your ethics, and your beliefs. How solid are you? Because if there's any uncertainty up there, it won't work because you don't believe, which is why you resist. So 6 7 perspectives, they give up monogamy, usually. It goes open relationship, and then celibacy, and then polyamory. And it's a process when you steer yourself out of monogamy and completely shed it. And then you realize that monogamy is one of the massive, most manipulative, controlling things there is out there, because it absolutely is deep-seated in control and fear and belief of scarcity. If you believed that love was abundant, then you wouldn't have monogamy and you wouldn't hoard what you have for yourself. Slavery is hoarding people to emotionally drain them for your own needs. That is slavery. Using people as expendable resources. So you have to be totally open and accepting that anything is possible. And not just when it's good, especially when it's bad. So think of your worst case scenario and ask yourself, where would you stand then? What do you believe in when things are at their worst? There's your truth. There it is right there. That is who you are. Imagine the worst case scenario. And what would you do? You take what it is you would do, and that's what you believe. So when you're trying to manifest something that's not aligned to that, manifestation won't work. I want to shift from this over to triadic healing and the subconscious mind and healing. When you are healing, this is exactly what you're doing. You are asking yourself, in the worst case scenario, what can I expect from myself? And then you ask yourself if you like what you see. Ask yourself, do you like what you see? You're behaving that way because of what you believe, which means the beliefs that you have are not reflective of you. Mental health is all about making sure our beliefs and our ethics and our actions and our voice are all reflective of our identity. And when they are not, we are not aligned. So when you think of that worst case scenario, that is who you are. I told my partner when we first met that just let me serve you. Just making you happy will make me happy. Let me serve you. I get so much joy over taking care of him. I gain so much joy from giving to him. And I said to him, something happened to you? Something ever happened to you? I'm going to be the one in the hospital taking care of you when you're in a coma. That is who I am. And when you are going through the hardships of where he and I are, where I have hurt him, and he is trying to figure out how to forgive me, or he has quit trying to figure out how to forgive me, I think he is trying to learn how to forgive me. And we're apart because the pain is substantial, but being apart causes substantial pain. And then you've got all of these fourth perspectives chiming in about what their opinion of a relationship should be. They've got this massive checklist of if they don't fall into these criteria, dump them, dump them, dump them, dump them. Fourth perspectives and lower love throwing away people. Foundationals love throwing away people because they haven't learned yet the value of people. You don't learn the value of people until you get to the fifth and sixth perspective. You don't get to learn about the value of self until you get to sixth, seventh, and eighth and ninth perspective. Foundationals tend to value status and possessions and the material objects. And then cultivators value people. Visionaries value people and the self. And I think about that worst case scenario, that I'm the one who's going to be there at his side at the end of all things. And that is what matters. And I lose sight of that a lot because there's a lot of noise out there. Once you know who you are at your worst, put that in the dead center of who you are. Everything else is built off of that. And if you don't like who you are in this worst case scenario, decide what you want it to be. What do you wish it was? That is who you are. Decide who you wish it was. In wanting it, you become it. If any of this resonated with you, click on the link below. Tell me which video you were watching and tell me which part resonated with you. And I will go over everything with you, including your healing journey design plan to determine how we can help you. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.